Last November was a complete turning point for me in my sustainability journey. I feel like I went from feeling great about the impacts that I was making to feeling like a complete failure overnight in the beginning of November. I spent a full week wallowing and figuring out what I wanted to do next. The only thing I felt like I could do is vote with my dollar for the next 4 years. Today I'm going to recap my vote with my dollar challenge, share updates, talk about how my first official month went, and answer questions from all of you. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. I've been doing this for 3 years now, and I've preached the entire time that you need to be voting with your dollar and spend your money with corporations that you actually align with. Spend money at small businesses or don't spend money. For me, this means a lot of things, so my vote with my dollar challenge encompasses all of them. I did go in depth in a video all about this already this year. In addition to wanting the money I spend to have an actual impact, I'm also trying to save money. I'm paying off $22,000 in student loans hopefully by June. I'm maxing out my 2024 and 2025 Roth IRA because I just found out that I can still contribute to 2024 until April 15th, which I barely contributed last year. But I'm going to max that out by April 15th. And after my loans are paid off and my Roth IRA is maxed out for 2025, my goal is to start to put that extra money toward our mortgage to pay down our house and build up a down payment for our next home so we can move soon. And also super essential, I really want to continue with no consumer debt. This challenge is kind of a combination of Project Pan, under consumption core, and a low buy or no buy year, except it's 4 years long, potentially longer. Honestly, something I'll probably continue doing for the rest of my life. I came up with a whole set of rules that theoretically will help me achieve my goals. If you're making your own challenge, you can choose some of these rules. You can make different rules. These are all of my rules, though. Let me know in the comments what extra ones you've added. This will also help people develop their own challenges. My first one on the list, a big one, no new tech unless the essential is unfixable. I need a computer and a phone to do my job, and iPad and Kindle are not required, but they should last for another 4 years at least. I did buy these mics this year, though. I did consider them essential because I didn't own mics before, and I do think that they really help my video audio quality when I'm recording on my phone. Our first question is concerning technology. Am I aiming to choose repairing over buying new, even if repairing is more costly? This is a hit or miss completely because I understand with the way that our world is built now, a lot of times repairs can be almost the cost or sometimes more than the cost of what a new item is. So as a non-answer but answer, it depends. It's something I will definitely weigh the cost of when it happens, but this is how I'm going to think through it. For the item that's broken, do I own something that can help fix it already, or can I ask a friend or my dad, who is my fix-it-all guy, if he can help? If the answer is yes, then I'm going to choose to repair it. If it's something that I need to hire out, like a phone screen, I'll do that and I'll choose to repair it because phone screens can be $100 to $200, whereas a new phone can be up to $1,500. If the repair for something costs half or more of what the value of the item is, then I'm going to ask myself, what happens to my broken item? Can I trade it in where it will be refurbished or recycled, or is it bound for the landfill? If it's bound for the landfill, I will likely repair it. It really is going to depend on the specific item. If something like a ceramic breaks, I have a kintsugi kit, I can repair it. I have super glue, I will be repairing it. Tech is a bit harder because most companies make it so you can't repair your own items anymore. Next on my rules is no new makeup, skincare, or toiletries. This is basically Project Pan. I'm trying to hit pan, the bottom of the bottles, and use everything I have before buying more. I get so much PR, so I'm also saying no to almost all of the PR, unless I'm working with the brand in some capacity. No new clothes, shoes, or fast fashion. No new craft supplies. I am so guilty of picking up a new craft and putting it down after 2 days. So I need to use the crafts that I have or figure out a way to use the supplies that I already have for a new craft. No new craft supplies. My exception is that in Rochester, there's a secondhand craft supply store and I want to go visit, and I'm sure I'll pick up some new craft supplies when I'm there. But I'm allowing it because it's secondhand. I'm probably gonna go some point this summer. No coffee out of the house. I haven't gotten coffee out of the house since early January, so I'm doing pretty good so far. This is something that I used to be really bad with. If I need something new, I'm gonna be going thrifting, and then I'm gonna be going to small businesses. I should be able to find everything that I need at my local grocery store, thrift stores around me, or a local small business, or an online small business. No random trips to Target, which brings me to the first change of my challenge. In mid-January, both Target and Lowe's dropped their DEI programs, so I joined the boycott. Question from you guys is, how much harder has it been since Lowe's and Target stepped back from their DEI? Honestly, not as hard as I thought. Mostly because I stopped shopping in general. We haven't been to Lowe's or Home Depot. The day will come. Things happen. A quick run to the hardware store is basically the life when you own a house. So when that happens, I will look to see if we have any smaller hardware stores in my area that I can go to, or if it's something that can wait, if I can order it online from a small hardware store or business or retailer, that would be ideal. And then it's going to be a case-by-case basis whether or not I go to Lowe's or Home Depot. We live very close to a Home Depot, a bit further from Lowe's. Home Depot donated a lot of money to Trump, but they do still have their DEI program. Lowe's does not have their DEI program. So it's something if you should personally weigh and decide which you'd rather shop at. There's no good solution, especially if you don't have a local hardware store. For Target, I haven't needed anything that I couldn't get somewhere else. So I shut off all of my app notifications and I'm not shopping there either. But regardless, no random trips to stores. I need to go in with a list. My next change on the list is no Amazon purchases and no Amazon Prime. It used to say minimize Amazon purchases, but I canceled all my subscribe and saves, and the longer I go without shopping on Amazon, the easier it is. So this was changed to no Amazon, no Prime. Next question. Is there a list of companies I recommend buying from? I recommend downloading the app called Goods Unite Us. It's basically a huge database where you can look up a celebrity, brands, even some sports teams are on there, and it tells you their donation distribution and other information. So I've been trying to use this before I buy something. Honestly, before I'm even looking at buying something, because if the brand comes back negatively, then I really honestly have no more interest in buying that product. Next on my rules list, no new decor, no new kitchenware, no new candles, and no new plants. No explanation needed. No new books. I will be utilizing my local library. And that brings me to another question. Is there anything that you miss that you are not buying now? Books. I used to browse Barnes & Noble regularly and kind of figure out what books I wanted to read, treat myself to a few books here and there, but I haven't done that since the day after Christmas, which is their usual like 50% off all hardcover sales. My husband and I go every single year. So I think to get around this, when I feel the urge to go and buy new books and browse and see what else I should read, I'll still go to Barnes & Noble and browse, but instead take pictures of things that I want to read and then borrow from the library. If I love the book after I borrow it from the library and want a copy for myself, it'll go on a list. If it's a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, that's a special edition that I want to buy, I can buy it at their 50% off sale when I go the day after Christmas. That way all of my purchases are at one time. And if it's not a special edition, then I have to find a local bookstore that I can buy it from. But I'm tired of spending $20 to $30 on a book, bringing it home, realizing I don't actually like the book, and either forcing my way through it and then feeling bad for getting rid of it because I spent that money on it, or DNFing it, which feels kind of worse. And I canceled all of my subscriptions that were not work related except for my Oura Ring. I have various subscriptions for programs that I use for my business and for my content creation, like Adobe for all of my editing, Flowdesk for my newsletter. So these are allowed. The subscriptions that I canceled were mostly streaming service based, with the goal and idea that I would resubscribe for a month or two when a show that I want to watch has come back out, or a movie that I want to watch has come back out. So anytime I have something I want to catch up on. So I already know I'm going to be subscribing to Hulu in May because The Handmaid's Tale last season comes out in April. The last episode of the last season comes out in May. So a couple weeks before that last episode, I'll start my binge rewatch of The Handmaid's Tale and then cancel the subscription once I'm done watching it. And now we've moved on to my exceptions list. My exceptions are buying things for gifts, for birthdays and holidays, which I did get questions about. Any tips on finding Amazon stuff elsewhere? It's particularly hard with specific gifts. And how are you doing gift giving during the challenge? I am still gift giving, but it is a very simple answer. I am shopping small businesses first. It does require a bit more effort and a bit more research. So while I start Christmas shopping usually in October, November, and finish by the end of November, I plan to actually start this summer and keep my eye out for things. Also, huge life hack, I keep a note on my phone all year round with everybody who I usually buy gifts for. This is my 5th or 6th year of doing this, and I keep track of ideas as I think of them all year round. For example, one year in the summer, my cousin talked about how much he loved his air fryer. So I wrote it down, and for Christmas that year, I got him a reusable basket for his air fryer, some silicone tongs, some kitchen towels, and a cookbook for air fryer recipes. I would have never remembered that when I went to go shopping for him later in the year. I can also collect a holiday village house for a month to build on my decor if it's on sale or if I can find it secondhand for a good price. I did already order 2 books for the year. Onyx Storm, which I bought a Target edition for my friend, and then Sunrise on the Reaping. Those are 2 books that I wanted in my hands right away to be able to read the day they come out. Sunrise on the Reaping comes out in March. And then my last exception, I can buy a replacement of something if I'm totally out. If I go through our stash of body wash, I will refill it or buy more. But not before, no stockpiling. If something totally breaks, cannot be repaired, and needs to be replaced, I need to buy a high quality upgrade. I need to buy nice or buy twice, and I'm choosing buying nice. My other exception is that I do have a no limit thrift list. I can thrift these products as much as I want just to get that shopping consumerism outlet a bit more sustainably. In the winter here, it is miserable outside, and seasonal depression is starting to hit hard. So I went thrifting to get out of the house. On my no limit thrift list is physical media, glass jars, holiday decor, natural clothing, and home products as needed. For natural clothing, I'm working on transforming my closet from synthetic fibers to natural fibers. So I'm always on the lookout for some good pieces. Because I canceled subscriptions, I'm keeping an eye out for physical media that I want, and I just love seasonal decor. Someone asked what are my favorite sustainable brands for natural fiber clothing. I'm bookmarking this to come back to later because so far I have only thrifted natural clothing. So I don't have any answers for you right now. I do also have a thrifting wish list. So I keep track of things that I want to keep an eye out for. Like a second pie dish is on my list. Because for Christmas this year, we went somewhere and brought 2 pies and I only had 1 pie dish. So we had to buy a disposable second pie dish. I see them at thrift stores all the time. I'm just keeping an eye out for one that matches my style. Another question I got was, how are you planning to limit impulse purchases when thrifting? And this is my thrifting wish list. And that's how I'm limiting impulse purchases. It has to be on my no limit thrift list or it has to be on my thrifting wish list. And when I'm thrifting, I ask myself, can I live without this? Because 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes. I just put this to the test on my last thrifting trip and I did so well. I only ended up with a few items at checkout instead of a full cart like I usually do. I have done surprisingly well with this challenge so far. I thought January and February would be the hardest, and honestly that I would fail because it's almost hard to cut off impulse spending. I think the reason for that is because I set such aggressive saving goals. $22,000 by July 1st on my student loans, $6,500 toward my Roth IRA for 2024, $7,000 for my Roth IRA for 2025. That's over $35,000 in savings that I need to be able to meet my goals, meaning I need to make double that for expenses and just to exist as a human being because I have bills too. So let's chat budgeting. I did get a ton of questions on budgeting. I think because I have such aggressive goals that I'm saving toward, especially with how our world is right now. So full disclosure, my husband and I have a very low cost of living, and surprise, surprise, a lot of people think I have kids. We don't have kids. We have a dog and 2 cats, one of which is chronically ill. So we do have a lot of vet bills there, but our cost of living is so low. We also bought our house in 2021 when interest rates were 3%. It's cheaper for us to own a house than it is to rent right now. And we've been so lucky we've had no major $1,000 of repairs needed. Knock on wood. You're both particle board. You might be real wood. Fingers crossed. So since we bought our house, we've been able to save money and slowly renovate to make this house what we want. And with the extra money that we've had over the last few years, we have finished all of those renovation projects and the work that we've wanted to do. For now, I'm sure we'll change our minds in a year if we're still here. We also eat plant-based, so we're not buying meat. A lot of the proteins that we buy are really inexpensive, and we've been able to cut out a lot of unnecessary expenses. So after our mortgage, taxes, insurance, bills, and our essential expenses, it costs about $3,000 for us total month to month, and that's split by 2 people. My husband works full-time as a teacher with insanely good benefits. So our health insurance is great, but very inexpensive. I work full-time as a content creator and I own a small business. I wrote a cookbook. So I have several income streams that allow me to continue to be self-employed. What I have found really helps too is that I am tracking every single penny of our combined expenses, my personal expenses, and I was always tracking my business expenses down to the penny just for bookkeeping. But I'm doing that now for all of our expenses, so we can see where our money actually goes. I honestly don't know if I will hit these goals this year or if I'll be able to hit these goals because of the state of our world right now. Tariffs are pretty scary and they are coming, and the TikTok ban would significantly reduce my income. So if I don't hit my goals this year, it's okay. I don't technically have to start paying my loans till August, and it's not a requirement that I max out my Roth IRAs both years. But I did set big financial goals on purpose, so I'm hoping that I can reach them. One of the questions that I got was how I keep track of our expenses. Do you prefer digital budgeting over paper? And have you tried a journal or cash envelopes? I actually started this challenge by keeping track on paper, but I just can't. I prefer keeping track on the computer. I just use Google Sheets. Our budget, our payments, our spending, it's always changing because my income is always changing. I don't get a consistent paycheck just because of the nature of work that I do. I have not tried cash envelopes. Honestly, the thought of going to the bank to get cash out because we never have cash to keep in envelopes just seems like a lot that I don't want to do. And honestly, I have some anxiety about house fires, and the fact that cash can't be replaced scares me a little bit. So I haven't done cash envelopes. I probably never will. If that works for you, awesome. So I'm going to show you how I keep track of all of our expenses. This is our combined finances spreadsheet. It's actually 2 broken pages from my business expenses bookkeeping spreadsheet that I modified to give me an annual overview of what we spend in one category as a monthly breakdown. And then I input our expenses. I tried so hard to find a budget template spreadsheet that also had an annual overview, and I've yet to find one. So I kind of rigged my own. Another question I got was, how did I spend 2 months analyzing finances, which is what I did in November and December of last year. I wanted to see where we were spending our money. So I actually used a copy of these 2 spreadsheets to go through our bank account and our credit card statements just to identify where our money was going. And we could identify what we were overspending on. One thing was groceries. We were spending almost $800 on food every month between bulk shopping, regular shopping, and eating out. Now we have a budget of $400 for groceries and $100 eating out, and we've stuck to it for the most part. Even just having a budget and loosely keeping us on track has helped significantly to cut down our grocery expenses. Another question I got was, does this apply to name brand food or groceries or certain food in general? This is something that I want to implement probably in Q3, researching specific food brands and only supporting ones that I align with, but I don't want to bite off more than I can chew in the beginning of the year. So I'm hoping that by the summer, I'll have a bit more time to really dedicate to that and evaluate our grocery bills a bit more. This is my business bookkeeping spreadsheet that tracks income, expenses, taxes, mileage, and it's amazing. I've used the same spreadsheet for the last year and loved it. And then this is my spreadsheet for my personal finances, goals, and payments I want to make. I did this myself. It's basically just a pretty spreadsheet that uses the boxes because I don't actually know how to use sheets. We have several emergency funds between the 2 of us. So my personal emergency funds total $13,000. Anything over that, I'm paying off debt or putting into my Roth IRA at this point. This is my current loan balance, our mortgage balance, and then this is the amount that I've saved for Q1 taxes so far, state, federal, and sales tax. And in these bubbles, I'm just keeping track of my personal budget for both personal and business expenses, which I gave myself a $500 a month limit. Some months I'll use all of it, some months I won't. And then this is just a map of each month's expenses. What's going to what? And as I pay for things or set money aside in my savings for these, I adjust these numbers so it's always accurate. And here's the total payments I want to make in February. Right now, here's what's my income minus tax. And this number changes all the time. I'm self-employed. A lot of times brands are late. My creator programs pay out differently every single month. So some months I'll hit my goal as to what I need to make this livable. Some months I won't bring in anything. And that's where my savings will help. It's just the nature of being self-employed and being a content creator. I've been doing this full time for almost 2 years, so I'm kind of used to it. I know what to expect. I know when my slow seasons are, and I know the months that I can typically bring in more to make up for the slow season. I'm sure by the age 27, I should have way more in savings, but honestly, I'm comfortable with what I have. If I had no debt at all, I would want way more in my savings. But for me, paying off my debt and investing in my Roth IRA are my priorities. And if you've watched this far in my YouTube video, thank you for contributing to my March student loan payment. I have 3 of my 6 loans left, so hopefully I'll be able to pay those off by July 1st. I hope this segment answered all of the questions people had about finances, and I hope that I was transparent enough for you. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I will answer every single one. I also shared a financial wrap up for the month of January on my Instagram. Here is that post, and I will go over it now. This is something I plan to do at the end of every single month or at the beginning of the next month, just for a bit more transparency. So here's January's. I paid $4,500 on student loans. $2,000 of this was from my savings. I had 15 and then I bumped down to 13, thinking that 13 was a better number. I decided that was fine for an emergency fund. And then I invested $625 into my 2024 Roth IRA. We spent $1,515 on mortgage, taxes, insurance, and utilities, $362.29 on groceries and eating out, $407.94 on our basement renovation, $455 on our pets for vet visits and food, and then personally I spent $82 on supplements, medications, and appointment copays. This will never be $0. I see an allergist every single month for allergy shots, so I'm less allergic to the things that I'm allergic to, and that's considered absolutely essential for me because allergy shots have quite literally changed my life. And then I spent $6.51 on the Oura Ring subscription. I bought 2 t-shirts on Etsy for $44.55. I bought $58.45 in books, a physical and a digital copy of Onyx Storm, and then $187.44 on gifts, which was my husband's birthday in January. So honestly, my overall January spending, even though I didn't officially start this challenge till the 20th, was pretty good. Way better than I thought it would be. Okay, so after filming, I realized I didn't actually include any numbers for how I was doing in February. Obviously, I've been doing this challenge unofficially since November, December, but it officially started January 20th. I did give all of the January stats from January 1st to the 31st, but I did not do February 1st till the 20th. So first, I'm gonna pull up our household expenses. Okay, so starting on February 1st, we spent $1,200 on our mortgage, taxes, and insurance. It's automatically deducted on the 1st of every month. As for other bills, we got our total for National Grid that we owe, not for another couple days, but it's $98.85. We were almost out of dog food and cat food, and Pet Supplies Plus was running a sale for getting free canned food, but I could also use a 30% off, so I got a bag of both, a huge bag of both, and spent $122.84, and then we got 4 cans of dog food for free. I got a Christmas gift while we were out for somebody that cost $20. I'm not showing it or who it's for. We have gone to the grocery store 3 times. The first was on February 1st. We spent $333.23. This was a huge restock trip. We were out of a lot of staples. And then we went to Wegmans and Aldi 2 other times throughout the month so far. We spent $95.02 at Wegmans and $47.97 at Aldi. And then we have gone out to eat one day just as like a mini celebration of sorts. We went to the Cheesecake Factory. We did have a $50 gift card, which is one of the reasons we chose the Cheesecake Factory. So we both got drinks, an appetizer, entree, and then cheesecake to go. So after our $50 gift card plus our tip on the total, we spent $99.68. So a lot for eating out at one place, but we don't do that very often. My personal expenses so far, not bad at all. I spent $12.27 on my monthly allergy injection. I went thrifting at AmVets and spent $46.38. And then my Oura Ring subscription at $6.51. So that's my personal expenses so far. I was able to put $2,000 toward my Roth IRA this month, and I am planning to put another $3,000 to $4,000 by the end of the month to max out that Roth IRA. And then I do have $1,500 set aside in my savings account right now for our March mortgage, taxes, insurance, etc. On to business expenses. I spent $21.74 on my Adobe monthly subscription, $2.99 on Apple storage. I did spend $162.04 on my new microphone set. I spent $16.30 on my Instagram verification monthly subscription. And later this month, I'm looking at my Facebook Meta verified subscription for $11.99, my ManyChat subscription for $25, and Flowdesk for $41.33. Aside from that, all of the other charges and expenses on my accounts have been for shipping for my business. So that's what I've done on my spending in February so far. I'm really happy with how it's been progressing. Other than the Rode microphones, I really haven't bought anything. I do, however, have the tabs pulled up that I refresh every day to see if they're back in stock for the Max apron, which is the Headley Independent apron that I so badly want. And then I do have the Lennox Spice Village set pulled up on my tab as well to just refresh and see if it comes on. There are a few more of those little houses that I want to get. I love the ones that I bought so far, and I'm waiting for them to come back in stock sometime in the spring. When they both come back in stock, I will be buying them. Overall, I am so happy with how this challenge is progressing, and I am so excited to see so many people joining me on this. I've loved getting status updates from people about not buying things, decluttering their homes, reaching the bottoms of lotions that they've had forever. It is truly inspiring me to keep going on my challenge and to keep sharing. And I did get some general challenge questions to answer as I wrap up. What are 3 things you suggest for someone just beginning this challenge? Number 1, start small. I shared this huge list with all of these goals and plans and rules and exceptions, but I've been working my way toward a challenge like this for 3 years. I've done low buy years and a no buy year for all those 3 years. So if you're brand new to this, maybe pick 1 or 2 things a month to keep an eye on for your spending, and add to it if you feel comfortable. Like, don't buy books, don't buy candles. Maybe you really like home decor, so go a whole year without buying anything new, or try a different challenge each month just to kind of curb your consumerism and figure out what you're spending your money on. And do you even need to spend that money on it? Start small, work your way up, otherwise you'll get burnt out and never want to do something like this again. And this is really important for society. Number 2, track every single penny. It sounds silly, but I'm a lot more frugal and cautious about big purchases and even small purchases now too, knowing that I have to put it on a spreadsheet and I have to share with all of you what I spend my money on. Honestly, that alone has stopped several unnecessary purchases. And along with that, set a realistic budget if that's something you struggle with. Sit down, look at your finances. If you spend $1,500 on groceries for your family each month, don't cut it down to $400 right away. Work your way down. Maybe go to 1,000, then 800, then 600, and then see what works best for you and your family. This challenge is going to be different for everybody, and everybody's going to be able to do it in some capacity, but it's going to be different for everyone. Number 3, give yourself an outlet. I used to love shopping at Target and Amazon, but I've been boycotting both, so I've turned to thrifting. Give yourself an outlet, maybe pick up a hobby instead, or maybe you really love shopping from a local small business. Treat yourself there every month instead of your monthly walk around Target. $50 will mean so much more to your favorite small business than it will to a mega corporation. Next question, what is the biggest change that you've noticed? The amount of money I've been able to save since I stopped my random trips to Target and keeping an eye on prices on my Amazon wish list is actually insane. There is no way I would have previously been able to make $1,000 payments on student loans or in my Roth IRA if I was still spending the way that I was last year. It has changed everything for me. What is the most challenging aspect so far? Fighting the battle between wanting to treat myself to things on my wish list because of how well I'm doing in this challenge and hitting financial and payoff goals, and also wanting to save that money to be able to put it toward loans, thinking I can treat myself after. I originally said that after I paid $5,000 on my student loans, I would treat myself to something off my wish list. I haven't done it. I want to treat myself, but I also want to get these paid off. And it's something that I go back and forth with every few days. So that's what is most challenging for me so far. What has been the most surprising positive change you've noticed since starting? This is super strange, but I'm sure some of you may be able to relate to me. I'm no longer waiting for the mail delivery delivery every day. It sounds so silly, but when I was accepting a lot of PR and doing a lot of online shopping, and especially being self-employed and working from home, the 12:30 mail delivery was something I looked forward to every day. Opening the packages I had and all of that, seeing what was in the mail today. And now I just don't even think about it happening. It's so silly and it's so weird, but my life no longer revolves around what packages I opened that day. I do still work with brands and get PR from campaigns, but I'm not consistently checking the mail. And I have one more. Since I stopped shopping, the amount of ads on my social media feeds have gone down significantly because I'm not clicking on ads. I used to get TikTok shop every other video and sponsored posts and ads for Target and things to buy on Amazon. And I rarely see them anymore, which is awesome. I only now see sponsored posts from mutuals on my feeds. Okay, so that was an insane amount of information. I'm so sorry if this video ends up being so long, but if you stayed till the end, thank you so much. I really hope this Vote With My Dollar Challenge 1 month update and breakdown was helpful. Like this video if you haven't already, and ask any questions that you have in the comments. I will answer every single one to the best of my ability if there's something that I missed. And also let me know how often you want updates on this challenge. I can do monthly in short form, I can do monthly in long form, I could do quarterly check-ins, but I don't want to bore anybody. May 2025 bring us zero debt, maxed out retirement accounts, no overconsumption, and only supporting businesses we love and stand by ethically. Have a good day and see you next time.